This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details.
It's time for another edition of Mase in Your Face. Now, along with college football immortality, Glen Mason, here's Dan Barrero.
Mase, is this true? Barry from Blaine writes, will you ask Mase if he can impart to us the feeling of beating Iowa 4 times in 6 years? Hard to remember what that must have been like. Did you do that?
I don't remember that. 4 times in 6 years?
That's pretty good.
I don't know. That seems like a lot. I don't know.
Ask Glenn about the 98 Minnesota-Iowa game. Hold on. Let me scroll down here real quick.
That was here.
Blowout Hayden Fry's last game.
Yeah. We killed him.
You killed him in that game?
Killed him.
You were merciless? Were you running up the score on Hayden Fry? I thought you had a good relationship with him.
I like Hayden Fry.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah.
Were you running it up a little bit?
I don't know about that, you know. I still remember what he said after the game.
What's that?
And no one knew he was retiring. That was going to be his last game.
They didn't know at that point?
No.
Oh.
And he came in, had a big smile on his face, and he shook my hand, put his arm around, and he says, I hope you win all the rest of your games the rest of your career. And I thought that was a weird thing to say.
Yeah, it is.
He was going out the door.
He was out the door. What was the final of that game, Guardsy?
49-7.
49-7. Who was your QB with that team? Do you remember?
Was that Billy Cochran? I don't know. That's
Guards, you'll find it. I know. I'm just asking. I mean, it's just good history.
So you won 3 times in a row. Hayden's last year, the first 2 years of Ferentz, 99 and 2000, and then lost 5 in a row before beating them in 2006 in the final game of the season.
Okay.
I was at a lot of these games. I remember a lot of them.
So was I.
Yeah. I hope so.
You remember only a few of them.
So you won 3 in a row, but not 4 out of 6.
Not 4 out of 6? No. Well, 3 in a row ain't bad.
And, you know, and I don't mean this as excuse. Some of those years, Iowa was really good.
Yes, they were. That's true.
I mean, really good. Oh, man, they could. And everybody thinks the defense, they play good defense. They had great offense.
Well, did you have any idea? Did you know Ferentz at all? When he came in, were you like, we'll take care of these guys?
No.
Who's this guy?
No, I'm not like you.
You're not made that. You're not wired that way.
No,
you have proper respect.
I judge people after I meet them and get to know them. I don't make those snap
What's wrong with a rash
like
decision?
You don't do that.
No, you don't?
You know?
Oh.
A lot of people say, you know, that Barrero's a jerk. I said, do you know him? And they said, no. I said, well, if you knew him, you'd even think worse of him. You know, that's how it goes.
Nice.
So.
That's not very kind.
No,
I've stuck up for you a lot lately, too. I think I'm going to have to stop doing that, obviously.
You got a lot to make up for.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would submit that of the two of us, Royce has more to make up than I do. I would argue I've made up a lot of it by giving you this audience that has allowed you to transform your image in the state of Minnesota.
I appreciate that more than you know.
I've saved your life.
Yeah, you really did.
I'm just saying.
I don't know what I would have done without you.
Well, I don't either.
I really don't.
You know what? In fact, I'm not even convinced you'd still be living here.
That has nothing to do with it.
I think there's a good chance you'd have said,
you're wrong.
Because you would have faded into obscurity. No. And you'd have said, I'm just might as well leave here. Now you have a reason to be here because of us.
Besides his grandchildren.
That's secondary.
Yeah.
Your grandkids.
You know what? I've lived in Minnesota, obviously, longer than any place I lived. And
me too.
In my day, you moved around a lot. You know, I mean a lot.
Yeah.
And then you're here, and all of a sudden you realize, you know, you've made some friends, like it here. Kids are here, grandkids are here. You need you need a reason to go someplace. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I just wasn't of the nature just to pull everything up and move someplace because the weather was a little bit better or whatever, or taxes were a little lower, or whatever. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done that, but
so you're not Louis, is what you're saying?
No, I am not Louis. I guarantee you that. But so you know what? So now I'm kind of one of us. Is that how you say it? I'm as much one of us as you are. Don't talk about years. I'm talking about.
Well, no. Let me finish. You are so defensive. What I was going to say is, I think you're considered more one of us than I am because you coached the University of Minnesota. That will, even if I've been here longer, I think that would give you, in most people's eyes, the edge.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're ever going to be grandfathered in totally, but I'm just saying.
But I get out and I talk to the people face to face, just not on the airwaves. I'm a man of the people.
Nah, I'm not sure I'd go that far.
Yes, I am.
Guardsy, man of the people?
I mean, he has his morning dog club. He's got his runners.
Yeah,
he's got Barry the Vest.
They want me to run for public office?
That's true. Why is that a mayor?
This isn't a Rubik's Cube. You love that situation because they all worship you. You love being in places where you're being worshipped.
No, you know what? You ought to come by there sometime.
Oh.
I take a lot of grief.
Do you?
You know what? You ever hear the term familiarity breeds contempt?
Yes, I know it very well.
You know what I mean?
That's why we don't do this year-round like you want to.
And
Exactly.
People get to know you, and all of a sudden that respect level goes way down. So,
Here's your toss-up question.
yeah.
Will you ask Mase, this is from 651 guy, how that happened to Minnesota on Saturday? Did he have any games as inexplicable as that one?
That's kind of a loaded question.
Yes,
isn't
it is.
I didn't see it coming. I got to be honest. If I was on this show last week and I was saying, I'm not a gambler, but if I was, I'd be taking the Gophers against Iowa. And I thought because
the points was like 9.5.
7.5 or 8.5.
It was more than that. It was almost 10.
And I thought Iowa can't score. They play good defense, but they can't score. And as we talked before the show, Iowa was better than I thought they were. And even though Minnesota faithful rushed the field beating Nebraska, I was of the nation. Nebraska wasn't a 25 team. They weren't coming in, and they sure weren't coming out. I don't know what all the hoopla over that was, but, it gets down to, some basics. They didn't control the line of scrimmage, offense or defense. And when I watch games, I really am nonpartisan. I don't care who I kind of watch from, and a lot of times I'm looking at, all right, if I was still coaching and I was playing this team, what's my evaluation? Now, when you're watching as a spectator, you're evaluating both teams at once. And I was unimpressed with the Gopher offensive and defensive line, and I was really impressed with Iowa's offense and defense line. The other thing that really got me was that Iowa's defense, highly aggressive and tough. I mean, I don't know how you describe the word tough, but you know it when you see it.
Yeah.
And I saw it on that TV.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a follow-up question. While the Gopher season has been typical of many recent years, they pray to sweep the non-conference, move on to survive against the bottom of the Big Ten while getting blown out by the powers at the top and reach low-level bowl games. Is there anything PJ or the university can do to change that pattern and make the University of Minnesota the next Indiana University? That's
Well, first of all, I'd like to know how Indiana did it. I mean, that's one of the greatest stories out there going. Maybe paralleled by Vanderbilt.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about Vanderbilt, and they only have one loss in the season. They beat Missouri last week. It was a top 10 team, I think. I don't know, because you would know Indiana better than I would because you're an alum there. But for years, they had glimpses, but they were very short, and they weren't really very bright, with the exception of 67 with John Pont when they went to the Rose Bowl. And all of a sudden, not only did they get respectable, they got really good. And people weren't giving them due credit because they were Indiana.
Yeah.
If they were playing and scoring, I'm saying about a year ago and this year, and their name was Ohio State or Michigan or Southern Cal, people were saying, whoo, they're the best. Now they're ranked number 2, but the way that they're playing and everything get out, they deserve to be number 2.
Let's stay on schedule. Mase is with us for the hour, and let's try to get some bonus bucks to one of our lucky listeners.
Fan and 2 men and a junk truck want to give you a shot to win bonus bucks. It is our national cash contest. 4 o'clock keyword is bank. Go to KFAN.com and enter the keyword bank.
We'll find out if Mase would have any interest in throwing his hat in the ring for Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's next.
And
LSU job? Dan, tell Mase that if he gets hired in Baton Rouge, don't put tomatoes in your gumbo. Don't put tomatoes in your gumbo. Is that considered verboten? I have no idea.
I love gumbo, too.
Are you a great gumbo man?
I don't make it, though.
But you like
I order it. I love it. Yeah.
Pretty attractive job. Any thoughts?
I'm not interested in coaching any place anymore.
Could you create a Southern accent, though? You think you could, because you're a Jersey guy, but do you think you could manufacture a Southern accent like Brian Kelly did?
I don't know why anybody would want to do that. Yeah.
Brewster did it.
Yeah.
Isn't he from New Jersey, too?
He's from New Jersey.
He ended up with a Southern coaching accent.
I know it. I don't know what's wrong with those guys. I don't know why. I can understand people trying to talk like they're from New Jersey, but why, if you're from New Jersey, would you want to talk like you're from Louisiana or someplace?
I don't know.
No, here's my deal. Louisiana is a great job. The three previous coaches for Kelly won national championships.
That's right.
You know why? They got unbelievable players in the state of Louisiana. Lots of them. I'm telling you. And but it's not the pressure of the job or anything like that. But what's taking place right now, Dan, I always thought, you go out and you fundraise and get people involved. And my view always used to be with these big-time guys is, I want your money, but I don't want your 2 cents. And what I mean by that, that's fine to support the program.
Yeah.
But no, you're not going to tell us how we're going to run the program. And what's happened in college athletics, not just with the boosters, but these presidents and ADs have let the shoe people, the apparel people, and most importantly, the TV people in, and they tell you how you're to run your business. And now with the NIL, with getting money, these guys, really rich guys, throwing money at program because they want to win at any cost because they're living their life through that program. If they're going to give you all that money, they're going to tell you. I saw, I'm not saying that Kelly, I'm not saying the reason that Kelly got fired was just because he lost the game. I don't think the AD did it. I saw where the governor got involved. We're
going to get to that in a minute.
And maybe the governor got involved because some guy that's given the governor a lot of money says, you know what, if you don't get that coach out of there, I'm not going to donate to your next election. So what I'm saying, these third-party people start running your job. Who wants to do that? The other thing was, people used to ask me, I'm not saying I never had an opportunity, but say, hey, did you ever have any interest in coaching pro football? And I said, no, I really didn't. They said, why? Money's so much better. This. I said, I'll tell you why. I said, because at least I get to run my team. I get to pick my coaches. I get to hire and fire them. I get to recruit my players and then decide who plays. I don't have some guy coming out of some other office or a general manager or an owner coming down saying, I want you to play Billy Bob. And I'm saying, no, Jimmy Joe's better. I don't care. You're playing the other guy. I couldn't deal with that.
Why does Brian Kelly rub so many people the wrong way?
Because he's obnoxious. No, he's got, he appears to be obnoxious. Let's put it that way. He's not, sometimes you see some guys and you think, there's a guy, okay? I want to say on Channel 5. He does the weather locally. I love watching him. You like why? He's a friendly guy. You say, geez, it's just, I don't care if he's saying it's in the snow or rain or whatever.
You like his delivery.
Yeah. Yes. He's a likable guy. Well, the way that Brian Kelly, especially on the sideline, when he was at Notre Dame there for years, he was a raving maniac. And then toward the end, he'd stand there like he was a mummy. I thought, well, maybe he was taking some medication or something. I'm serious. I'm not making an accusation, but it was totally different because his outbursts were bad. But when you were around Coach Kelly, my first introduction to him, I was coaching the East-West game, and he had won some championship, I'm going to say at Grand Valley State. I think that's where he was. And because of that, he got invited to coach too. And, you had, not myself, but you had some who's coaching on this staff. Mac Brown was there. Yeah. Larry Coker had won the national championship, Miami. He was there. Pruitt was there from West Virginia, winning a championship down there, and Brian Kelly was there. And I remember the guy saying, "Who is this guy?" It was kind of a know-it-all type guy.
Right.
And but he could coach. I mean, he won there. He won a Century, won in Cincinnati. He broke Newt Rockne's record at Notre Dame because he was there, long enough, but he didn't win a national championship. So I think people look at it, he's not like the weather guy.
No, that's a good contrast. You mentioned the governor. This is just from within the last hour. Mm-hmm. The governor of the great state of Louisiana, Jeff Landry. Quote, "No, I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward, who is the LSU AD, will not be selecting the next coach at LSU. The Board of Supervisors, as picked, by the way, by the Louisiana governor, is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to find us a football coach."
Wow.
How fitting.
Wow.
Doesn't that explain everything?
Well, yeah, I would say this, okay? I don't know Scott Woodward, but he was at A&M when they hired Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It didn't work out too good. He probably saw the posse come, so he left.
Yeah.
He went to LSU. What was it? That was a 75 or
$77 million, I think, was the buyout.
$1 million buyout.
Right. Yeah.
So
76.
now he rides his pony down to Baton Rouge, and they let him hire Brian Kelly, of which a lot of people, kind of,
right.
Really? Does he fit down there? Is he an SEC guy? And now the buyout's $54 million. So now you're the AD, but if you don't get to pick the coach, then what is your job? What more important job could you have as an AD than select a football? If you fire somebody, then hire a dud. The AD should lose his job, don't you think?
No question.
What do you think about that?
I just think in Louisiana, the rules are different. Well, and the governor's just saying, well, it's happy for the AD. This is too important a decision to leave to the AD, the guy who's supposed to do it.
If I was Scott Woodward and his wife says, I'm thinking about redecorating the house, I'd say, not so fast, sweetheart.
Mase in your face.
His buyout's 50, 51 in that range?
Kelly's,
million, yeah.
So the last two coaches he's hired, $120 million has cost the schools. It's crazy.
Somebody said, who did I see interviewed just this past week? Who's the now the national guy who made a name for himself covering SEC stuff? Who's on ESPN?
Paul Feinbaum.
The guy who's still talking about running for Senate. I don't know if he's still talking about running for Senate. He named, is it Sexton? He basically said,
Jimmy Sexton,
the agent who basically, because the question was, it was Rich Eisen with him, and Rich said, how did we get to this place in the buyouts? And he said, I'll give you the one name. It's Sexton.
Jimmy Sexton.
He said he's the guy who almost on every one of these basically is so intimidating and it's such a mismatch in his favor over most of these ADs that he just steamrolls them. And they ultimately feel like we got to sign this guy, and he keeps asking for stuff, and they keep saying yes. And he's the guy who has really started this momentum regarding the buyout.
Behind Jimmy Sexton? It's a great story. He went to Tennessee. He was at Tennessee the same time that Reggie White was. They lived on the same floor in the dorm. And obviously Sexton's a smart guy. He used to help Reggie White out academically on some things, So now Reggie White, he gets drafted.
Right.
And he goes to Sexton and he says, hey, I want you to help. You're the smartest guy I know. Help me out with this, okay? And that's how he got started. And then it just... it started going and going and going. And then, a lot of guys that he represents in the SEC are descendants of Nick Saban, and he represents Nick Saban. And it was ingenious what he did with Nick Saban. After Nick Saban won the national championship at LSU, he redid his contract, and he put in his contract that he would be the highest paid football coach in the country. So that every time somebody else got hired, Nick got $1 more than that guy.
I don't know if I've asked you this before, because we've probably run the getting you back to becoming a coach thing into the ground, I grant.
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
But I know you're out of it at this point. I get that. You've moved on. But was there ever a point, forget the coaching part, was there ever a point, because I know you have such strong opinions about the way these athletic department operations are run, were you ever tempted to go to a place, maybe even it wouldn't be a top 10 program early, but to go to a place to run the athletic department? Did you ever have any athletic director interest post-coaching?
No.
How come? Or why not?
I don't, because I was a football coach, you know?
Yeah, but you know how this stuff runs.
I understand that. I really do understand that. But the commitment that it takes to be really, really, really good in football, I think probably any place that I would have gone with the idea that, I'm a football guy, I'm going to get the football going, but you're going to be the AD. It would have looked like that I was robbing Peter to pay Paul the time to take care of football. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, I would have liked to have done it because I think I could have gone out and sold the program. I think right now that the main function of an AD right now, because of the costs and everything with the NIL, man, if you ain't out there every day, you, not somebody else, not some board or group that you have, you out there going to the people, because the AD, just like the football coach, can open doors that some guys that's on the NIL committee, then they don't even know that. You can't get in that door. Selling what you're trying to do, that is a full-time job.
Do we know what's the history? How did Alvarez go from being the coach to being AD? What's that story? Do you know the story?
Well, he had obviously he had great success there at Wisconsin. He turned the program down, and I think he had opportunities to leave over the years, and he wasn't going to leave. And he had an exit strategy. I don't know this.
You're right.
Don't you? I thought you were marketing this program. You had Alvarez on today. We could ask him. Is he on?
Well,
you didn't get it done
because you didn't help us.
We're working on it.
Okay, working on it. Okay, you didn't get your job done, right, Guards?
Louis ripped
I heard you were advertising that he was going to be on.
Well, no, was advertising. I told Louis the story, and he hammered you for being so unsupportive.
I got side. That's
just saying.
So I think he developed a strategy with those people. Hey, I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to coach forever. But I love I've got a vision here to keep this thing going, and so I'd like to be the AD and football coach, and then in X number of years I'm going to give up football and I'm just going to be the AD. Reason being, you think Alvarez could open every door that he wanted? Just what I was talking about. He had a name. He could connect with people. Oh, Barry Alvarez on there. Oh, I'll take that. Hey, listen, we need some help. We did this. Can you help us out there? And so I thought that was ingenious. Now, I asked Barry this question. I'll tell you this. I said, Barry, how's it going?
Great to talk about this with him.
I know. It's like he's here.
How's it going being the AD? And he's talked about it, And I said, well, how are the other sports taken to now that the football coach is now the AD? And he said, well, it's really kind of funny. He said, first thing I did was I had a meeting with every coach. They love me because when Pac Richter was the AD, the only thing he cared about was football and basketball.
Really?
Exactly what he told me.
In your face.
Did you ever have a chance to be AD here? Did anybody ever come to you like, okay, be coach / AD?
No. You know the answer.
Well, no, I don't. I mean, there could have been a feeler. I don't know. It's possible. You might not have been interested.
I got relieved of duties.
Well, eventually, yeah, I get that. But you were here. How many years were you here?
I was here 10 years.
10 years. That's
it's amazing. And I go back. And you talk about Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know Iowa's had 2 football coaches since 1968? 2.
Not quite. 77.
Who?
Hayden Fry. He was late 70s. 1978, maybe.
78.
It's still pretty impressive.
That's right. Yeah. 78. I'm sorry. 78. So, but that's still pretty impressive, right?
Yeah, 50 years, basically.
And then, how many ADs have they had?
That I don't know. But again, very few.
Very many,
a lot of stability.
5.
I mean, you had Bump Elliott, right?
Yeah.
And then you had the guy who left to go to Stanford.
Bob
Bowlesby. And then, I don't know the other guys in it. I mean, when they had like 4 maybe, right?
Stability is what you're talking about.
We had 4 in a week.
Well, that's because you ran them out.
Yeah.
I mean, you were tough to work with, man.
Asking for TVs.
Yeah, I mean, it was, high maintenance. I mean, Might have had something to do with it.
You wanted a building that didn't have a monster truck rally in? It's like you can't have everything.
I know it. That's unbelievable.
Direct.
I did. You don't talk about LSU, though.
Yeah.
In 99, I got a call from LSU.
Really? Who was there then? Who was coaching? Do you remember?
The guy got fired.
Oh.
Must have been DiNardo.
Oh, DiNardo. Okay.
Got fired.
Yeah.
And so Tom Moe is the AD, and I have all the respect in the world. Smart guy.
I remember that. Yeah. You like him. You're a big Moe guy.
So anyway, I agreed to talk to them. And I flew to Chicago and met with the president in Chicago.
Was that a big secret?
Yeah.
Thanks for telling us.
And then, so anyway, we talked, had a nice conversation, and I stalled him a little bit, And they said, what do you think? And I said, well, I've been to LSU, but I haven't in a long time. They said, we're going back now. Why don't you get in a jet and go with us? And I said, geez, I'd really like to go home and discuss it at home, Okay. And then I came back and I talked to Tom, and Tom says, well, tell me, what's the number one reason why you'd want to leave Minnesota? And I said, Tom, I hate playing in that dome. It's depressing. It's terrible. I can't stand it. It's not college football. And Tom said, well, you know what? I really think you're on the right track, that the both of us working together, we keep it going like that, we can get a stadium back on campus. That's what he told me. And that appealed to me. It really did. I mean, that could be our legacy. I said, okay, well then Nick Saban, I'm not saying they offered me the job. I'm not saying Nick Saban took the job, and then Michigan State called me right away. And the
that was the famous quote. If the phone rings, I'll answer.
And the president offered me the job. He did. I want you to come here. Nick Saban's left. We want to, and they offered me sizable money to go there. Okay?
So a bump, a raise.
Big bump. But Nick Saban's staff wasn't leaving with him. They didn't want to go with Nick. And this guy wanted me to keep the staff. Not entirely, but in other words, I have to leave a big portion of my guys here and go to Michigan. So we didn't get any farther than that. I said, geez, that's not the way I operate. Again, it goes back to, if I'm going to run the program, I'm going to run the program. Okay. If I'm bad, okay, it's my fault. But I don't want to take grief when someone else is making the decisions. So, what was the question?
Did we know this?
I didn't. I was going to think this would be great for your book.
I knew there was
that's
a phone call from Michigan State, but I don't remember hearing. Maybe my memory's bad. I don't remember this being this specific about how it went beyond that.
Well, it was quick, bang bang.
Yeah, okay,
yeah. But that's what I did, and so.
Were you tempted? I mean, because it isn't ideal to take somebody else's staff. I get that. We go, I'm losing control from the beginning. But big bump, probably capable coaches, right? And you go,
I was not interested because the conditions were being dictated to me.
Right. Yeah.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It wasn't.
But the situation here wasn't ideal.
I know that. But it wasn't. If it would have been, I might have been a little bit more interested, Dan, if he would have said, boy, we got a really good staff here, and they don't want to go with Saban because they don't want to work with him.
Right.
You ought to come and interview these guys. Well, when they go, he offered them. You need to interview them. But that ain't what he said.
Yeah. He said you got to keep them.
Got to keep them.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Do you think if he had said the other, you'd have?
I don't know. I'm just speculating. That turn. We didn't get that far.
What did you get from Mo in return? You got a bump, I assume.
Well, that was already in the works.
Why?
It was only in the works.
Before that overture?
Before all that stuff. And that was...
You didn't try to get another bump at that point?
No, I did not. And that wasn't come from Tom Moe. That was come from Mark Udoff. Because Mark Udoff called me. I knew exactly. I was on campus. My phone rang. I said, what this is. And he said, hey, I just want to talk to you. He said, meeting with the staff. We're not paying you enough. By what you've done, what you've accomplished, and I'm going to just tell you, we're going to put something together that you're going to be happy with. You just got to trust us. And I was happy.
How much more was the Michigan State offer?
Significant.
Like another $1
No,
a year?
We weren't talking in terms back then like that. Are you crazy?
Yeah, it's a long time ago. You're right.
Really, that's. You know what I'm going to tell you? You know what I was thinking?
What's that?
I got to tell you. You know I'm great on stories. Can I tell you a story?
No, that's your show, obviously. I'm just here for the ride.
I know it.
Yeah.
But anyway, how things have changed. When I went to
another example of my lack of generosity, Kansas, I guess. But go ahead.
When I went to Kansas, okay, Big 8 conference. People, if you remember the Big 8, well, big,
huge.
You know, Oklahoma,
Barry Switzer,
Nebraska, you got it. It was
Tommy Osborne.
It was the best football conference going out
No
there.
doubt.
And nothing was too good. Well, I go to Kansas. Facilities are bad, program was bad, and we practiced by Allen Fieldhouse.
Cow pasture?
Bad practice fields. We didn't have an indoor field house. And if it rained, the fields were bad. We had to practice in the stadium. And the stadium was up Jayhawk Boulevard, a hill from Allen Fieldhouse through campus and down Mississippi, which is a steep hill down to the stadium. Well, the way we transported, we had these 2 old school buses, one yellow and one blue. Right. Not only that.
Not Perry Limo? I
had to get 2 coaches, get special driving's license to drive the buses. Coaches, okay? So one day, it's raining. We pack, only 2 of these buses, we pack them in there. Of course, I'm on the first bus, the yellow one. And we go up the hill, down, go to the stadium. And I would wait for the second one to come because they're line. All of a sudden, here comes the blue bus. And I'm standing there watching it come down Mississippi. And I'm saying, and 2 guys, remember Mitch Browning? He drove one. The other guy was a guy named McCartney. He was a GA. I said, God, he's going fast. He goes right by the stadium. And I go, what is that crazy guy doing? And he keeps going. I think he's being funny. Players say, let's mess around with Coach, you know? And he keeps going. And I'm getting mad. I said, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to fire him on the spot. Is he crazy? Well, about 15 minutes later, here comes the team running. I go, McCartney, what are you doing? He says, we lost our brakes.
Oh, man.
That's serious. That came down the hill and had to cross 2 major streets.
I mean, it could have been a disaster.
And then after the 2 major streets, it flattens out, and he took it all the way to the river and stopped it in the grassy river, and they had to run back. Big-time football.
Did you demand new buses?
New brakes.
New brakes at least, yeah.
That's all we got.
Be a good
Low
start.
budget.
More Mase stories will be spun. More Mase yarns. Let's get one more pause in, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about Big Ten games this week as well.
Time now for the Vikings Report on The Fan, presented by Miller Lite. Vikings wide receiver Adam Thielen joins Dan Barrero next. Fan.
Let's remind folks that Mase in Your Face is sponsored this year by Jack's Cafe. We appreciate their contributions to the bit.
You know what I really appreciate?
What's that?
If after this show, and
today,
I'd even hang around.
I don't believe you.
If we get guards, he'd call up Kerry Limo.
Yeah.
Todd Anderson, get the Kerry Limo here, and go over to Jack's and feed me.
And you buy dinner?
Deal.
You buy us dinner?
No, it's your turn to buy.
Are you nuts?
So if I understand the sequence here, you savage the crap out of me, and then I am supposed to respond by, hey, let me buy you dinner. That seems really fun.
Well, I just don't go to dinner with anybody.
Oh, I see. That explains
There's a price to go with Mase.
All right, let me ask you this, because we're going to run out of time, and I definitely wanted to get to this. I meant to get to it earlier.
Okay.
If you are coaching Carson Wentz,
yep.
Does he stay in that game as long as he did for the Vikings?
Absolutely not. And I've never coached pro football. I know that there's a difference, but and we've talked about this before. I always prided myself. I always try to remind myself of making decisions. I'm going to coach someone else's kid the way I'd coach my own kid. And I watched that game, and it was painful to watch. The young, I'm going to say young man, the
32,
man, the player, he looked like he was in unbelievable pain. He really was. I'm not a doctor. I don't know what the medical staff was saying to him. You know, in pro football, if a guy gets a little bump in the head, I mean, they stop it down, someone takes him out. I don't know, they have medical advisors. You think the medical advisor watching that game say, whoa, you know, maybe his head's okay, but he is not okay. And, you know, when I was coaching all those years, I overruled doctors, but not letting a kid play. Never, if they said he couldn't play, he couldn't play.
You never overruled that,
no.
Right.
And I remember that didn't happen a lot because the medical staff, the place I worked, were really good. But I remember when I was at Kansas, when you were playing at Missouri, Chip Hillary was my quarterback, and he got a head bump or whatever. I don't know if it was a concussion or not. In those days, all you did is hold up fingers, and if you said two, you put him back in the game. And he said he was okay, and the doctor was okay. And I looked at it, I was on a call play, and I said, no. And he was upset. I said, no. And I said, he just doesn't look right. I'd rather err on the side of caution. And watching him play, I don't know if he could hurt it further. I heard your story before. I don't know if he could hurt it further. In that type of pain, you shouldn't be playing. You really shouldn't.
I agree. Now, a texter writes, when you have a situation in which adults are involved, he writes, if it was children or maybe even a college level, the coach would have more responsibility. But after all, Carson's an adult. What do you say to that part?
Player's a player, coach is a coach. I think the number one responsibility of a coach at any level, pro, college, high school, pee-wee, whatever you want to call it, is the safety of your players. Now, he may disagree with me. I'm just telling you that's my philosophy.
I'm with you 100% on this one. As much as I hate agreeing with you. You had what else? You had something else. I want to talk quickly. Gophers, Michigan State. It's the old. You got to rebound fast here, right? You got to get that out of your mouth.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a very disappointing game. The old saying, "Don't let one team beat you twice," because you should beat Michigan State. Playing at home, you're a favorite. Michigan State's
winless, I think, in the conference, if I'm not mistaken.
Not a good football team. You got to win this one. Otherwise, you make that loss to Iowa even worse.
Yeah.
So they've got to do it. It's amazing. There's some really interesting stories out there. We talked about Indiana, and we talked about Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt plays Texas this week. You don't think that old Sarkisian down the Longhorns aren't a little nervous? He's already got 2 losses. He can't lose to Vanderbilt and get 3. How about Navy, the midshipmen? They're undefeated. Obviously, and they're playing North Texas 7-1. I don't know anything about North Texas. I think a sneaky team is Cincinnati. Now, you saw what Utah did to Colorado. They destroyed them. But they play Cincinnati this week. Cincinnati only has 1 loss. And then is the wounded animal of Penn State dangerous to the Ohio State Buckeyes? I don't know. That
game's in Columbus, I think, isn't it? They host Indiana, does Penn State the next week. But I think Guardsy, is Penn State, Ohio State, that's in Columbus, isn't it?
I'm checking
Am I wrong?
for you.
You double check it? Yeah, double check just to see. By the way, a texter wants to know what your buyout is for this show. What is the Glen Mason in your contract? What's the buyout?
You mean if I get fired?
Well, that, or if somebody wants to come after you and we say, okay, here's what you have to pay. Yeah, another station. Well, no, what that station would have to pay.
If I left you guys, I'm under contract with you guys.
Right.
I don't know. It's probably, I better read the fine print. I don't know.
You better look at it. It's in Columbus. It's at the Shoe. And speaking of Mace's compensation, he mentioned the president. Was it President Udoff?
Yeah, Mark Udoff.
We also had our president, our market president called, put together a meeting and said, we've looked at Mase and what he provides, and we think we're paying him exactly what we should pay him. It was a little different than the other one. So we think it's a very fair, and reasonable offer. Fair is where you get a pig in August.
We know that.
And so we think we've revisited it, and we think we're giving him exactly what he deserves.
I got to ask you guys something, okay? Did you watch the Alabama-South Carolina game?
I did not.
Mm-mm.
So, I was flipping. And I saw where South Carolina was winning. Alabama had the ball. They scored right at the end. I don't know, a minute left or something like that. And they went for 2 and got it. So I figured it's going overtime. Next thing I know, Alabama won in regulation. So South Carolina must have fumbled the ball through an interception.
I don't know.
Do you know?
Guardsy should know. He's the college football guy, but he's too busy. He's being distracted by our 5.
No, Kessler, I'm actually keeping Kessler in here. We're breaking a lot of things down.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I mean, I was busy on I have to work at it.
Yeah, I did not watch that game at all. And you're our college football expert.
And Coach Prime had a rough day.
Yeah, well. Yeah.
He said
reality is setting in a little
bit. That's the worst whooping he ever got since his mother whooped him.
Yeah, that's not good.
53-7. Ooh.
That was the final?
I think so. 53-7. And how about my Kent State Golden
What'd they do?
They beat BG. Eddie George, the Heisman Trophy winner.
Did they really?
Yeah, they beat him. Had to be a big upset.
BG is in Bowling Green?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then the other thing, sad note, though, my Jayhawks got thumped by Kansas State.
I thought they were on the comeback trail.
They were, and they played at home and got thumped.
Ooh. Well,
Yeah.
Football's a funny game, Mace, as you know. Goes week to week.
It's not a round ball.
All I care about is whether my Hoosiers can take care of business at Maryland.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that game, and they're at Penn State. Those are trap games for the Hoosiers.
Well,
After that, it's Wisconsin, Purdue, and they're home free.
that's when, you know what? That'll be their biggest risk. I'm telling you.
Yes, Penn
When
State.
everybody,
when everybody's coming after you.
No, when you get by those supposed trap games, you say,
yeah.
"Oh well, we got Wisconsin." They can't. That's because you're dealing with kids.
Traps. Yeah, you're right.
Watch out.
And
the season's long. To run the table
these days, especially
hard.
Yeah,
it really. If you look at the number of times any team has run the table in the Big Ten, not as many as you think.
South Carolina fumbled on their own 40, is what one texter is telling us.
Okay.
Does that make sense then?
I knew it had to be a fumble or interception.
They fumbled at their own 40. I had one other. Well, they're agreeing with you. Mase, this is from texter. Get my cheaters on. I can't see. Nathan, Mase is 100% right. As a coach, it's their responsibility to protect the player from the cells when the player is unable. Athletes are told and trained to play through everything and only come off the field if the coach tells you to, or if you literally cannot walk out there. Yeah, I agree. I'm still stunned that they went the way they did. We all know now it's JJ's team, right? And because now Carson had the surgery. So
he's gone. He's done. He's gone.
And JJ is starting, and Guardsy's guy, Brosmer's the backup. They brought in a veteran whose name escapes me, who used to work, KFC worked with him with the Rams. I don't even remember his name. It is worth noting, although
you
this
don't
might
know
be
his name.
No, I've never heard of this quarterback.
He's that
you know
high
the name?
profile?
He's not high profile.
It's Hole something, right?
I don't remember.
Yeah,
I honestly don't remember.
Something.
What I do also know, and this will probably be part of Top 5 at 5, is the news on Van Ginkel is suddenly much more positive.
He practiced today.
He's acting like his intention is to play on Sunday in Detroit, and I think the betting line was he's out for a while longer. He's had the neck issue, so that would be a big bonus help. That's a tough game in Detroit, though, regardless.
And you see Aiden Hutchinson got a contract extension? Lots of money.
And didn't he miss one of the 2 games? He missed at least one of the 2 games against us last year.
Yes, he did.
The good thing is we got a really stable offensive line, that regardless of, so we shouldn't have any problem handling it.
Are you being sarcastic?
A little sarcastic. You know, that's what you learned that from me, the sarcasm. I have the sarcasm gene. You love it.
Yeah.
I want to go. Am I going too far?
Are you nuts?
Sarcasm is the lowest form of humor. Did you know that?
Is it really?
Yeah.
According to you. Yeah, because you didn't like to be on the wrong end of it. Thanks for coming in. Are you back next week, or are you back in Fargo?
No, I'm back.
Is the Fargo experiment over? Or
no.
Oh, okay.
Going strong.
Okay, good.
Going strong.
It's good to know.
At least last time
last time you checked. Top 5 will include Vikings injury updates and what else? Wolves preview?
Wolves, Wild, and Wentz.